Hi everyone, it's Catherine from Inky Finky Cat. I thought I'd pop on and show my face. Don't do it that often. And also, I need to do a tidy up before I start doing anything today. So I thought, well, stick the video on, say hi, and share what's going on with you all. So I'll flip the camera around so you can see what I'm going to be dealing with. So, as I say, it's not major. I've had worse. I know this is like literally a 10-minute job to tidy up, but I thought I'd share it with you because it's been a little while since I've done that. I'm also in a bit of a mojo-less place at the moment. So I might end up just doing like die cutting or something like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hubby's out for the day. Daughter's upstairs. But you'll see in a minute that might be the reason why I'm feeling a little bit like mojo-less. In fact, let me show you what's going on. Yeah, that's what's going on. So she is in 2 weeks. Yeah, this time in 2 weeks, she'll already be in her flat at uni. So at the moment, my entire sofa, plus there's another bag of stuff that actually has disappeared off upstairs, but it needs to come back in here at some point. That's all of her stuff at the moment, just prepared for going away. So yeah, I'm an emotional mummy at the moment, being prepared for my baby girl to leave home. She's not going far, she's only going down the road. It's literally 25 minutes, probably 30 minutes door to door from us via train, so it's not too bad. But yeah, that's part of the reason why my crafting mojo is not quite there, is because my mind is constantly occupied with what's going on with her. So we're not too bad in here. There's a bit of rubbish to be sorted out on the floor, which isn't too bad, and then it's just a few bits and pieces across the desk. I do need to think about best way of storing certain things, so things like that gift wrap that's all kind of here. There's a big bag with gift wrap and stuff. I need to sort that out at some point and sort out a way of storing that. But I'm generally quite happy with the way that I organise my craft room. It usually makes it an easy job to put things away because I know where everything belongs, and it's not overly stocked, if you know what I mean. There isn't an overwhelm of certain things anymore. I've done quite well over the last couple of years in being sensible, in paring down, getting rid of, etc. So it's not too horrific. So I'm going to stick you into fast forward whilst I just tidy up the desk, clear the decks, and then I'll come back to you. It wouldn't take very long, took less than 6 minutes, 5 minutes and 32 seconds or something. So I'm tidy, not clean, not intending to be clean, that's fine. Tidy will do for now. Most of the bits picked up off the floor. I've still got something else that doesn't even belong in here on the floor, so I'll leave that on the floor for the moment because I can't be bothered leaving the room. Decided not to try and tackle major reorganisation. My head's not in the right place for that. So I just thought I'd share with you generally how I keep things in my craft room, because I thought people may have similar ideas. They may have some bright ideas for me to improve it. I've definitely got one area of the desk that is just, it works, but it's not great use of space, and I really need to think about using it differently. So I'm very much welcome to any tips on that. So let me just explain. Far corner here is, I have Stampin' Up stamps, some wood block stamps that I use quite a lot. I've then got a shelf with various junk journals. Don't do junk journaling anymore. Might move those to be maybe where my other art journals are, over on the other side of the room. probably need to look through them and actually decide whether I even want to keep them. That's just a thought that's just occurred to me. Is I've been watching someone called Jen LaForge. I watch her because she does Disney stuff, but I really like her. I think she comes across really well. I like her personality. I seem to have similar views to her on quite a lot of things as well, so I feel kind of a kindred spirit. But she's been doing Swedish death cleaning, and she's also been going through a really challenging time at the moment with her mother with I don't know if it's Alzheimer's or dementia she's got, but and having already lived through this with my in-law, with my mother-in-law, I kind of feel where she's at, but it has made me think about, not that I'm intending to die anytime soon, but what will I want Maya to have to deal with? So it's just come into my thought. I just thought I'd share that with you. So I'm going to look into more about what this Swedish death cleaning is that she's been talking about. And it's not about decluttering as in you get rid of everything and you live a minimalist lifestyle, but you live with only the things you really need or really, really enjoy and really love, and be thinking with the end in mind. Somebody is going to have to clear out, do something with your stuff. So it is something that's in my head at the moment. Even while she's moving out, I'm thinking about it for, you know, when I move out. Anyway, back to it. So junk journals, probably need to sort those because I think there'll be a better use for that shelf that's within easy reach than just storing junk journals that I never really look at. So yeah, need to have a think about that. Then I have my oxide inks, which are just here. Can you see there? Grey. So that's the oxide inks stash. And then I don't know what's on the shelves underneath that because they're all blocked in. And they're blocked in by another thing. Right, I'm going to reposition the camera. Apologies for wobbliness. I can't get this to work on the tripod. And also for the weird head angle. So yeah, underneath is some baskets. Now those have got my alcohol markers, my Stampin' Blends and Pro markers, my Stampin' Right markers, and then various other pens and pencils. Again, the ones at the bottom, don't use very often. Probably need to think about reorganising that and sorting that out. There's a whole load of cardboard waste at the side that are things that I will either die cut with, or they're things like packaging that I will use to send stuff out to people. On top of that, there is a box that I put swaps in, so when I make anything for like UK Stampers Forum or whatever, I pop it in the box ready for sending out at the end of the month. There's the sketchbook, which is the Martin's Mayhem's Sketch Mayhem. I think that's what he called it. Bear with me, let me find out. Sketch Mayhem. You can get this on Amazon. It's not normally this size. They did it in the wrong size originally for him on Amazon, and I was one of the first people to buy it, so I bought it at this size, which is kind of like, it's not A4. I think it's the American A4. Yeah, I think it's the equivalent of an American A4. So is it called letter size or something? But yeah, my lovely crafty friend Martin designed this, and you can see here you've got all sorts of different like sketch type things, and I've used it along the way. I've not used it a huge amount, but I have used it for when I've been planning out ideas. And you can put in things like your colour combos, which kind of stamps you're going to use, what products you're using. But yeah, various the wind just blew the door shut, maybe just sorry. But yeah, there's various bits and pieces in here, but I haven't used it a huge amount, but you know, there's a reasonable amount. I've also got 30 days sketches printed out and put in there because it's just a useful resource to have for when you're looking for ideas, when your mojo's a bit low, like mine is. And then the top of there is my basket of products to use. So what I do is if I get something new, it goes into there, but also if I come across when I'm rooting through my stash something that I think, oh, I've not used that for ages, I really want to use it, I'll pop it in that basket, and that's my go-to basket for things to use. Okay, moving across is like a little, well, the duster does not need to be in here. Okay, my bin's at the bottom, but it's actually not being used at the moment because I'm using this Spencer's bag for my bin. But yeah, there's a little pile of tools that are my most used tools. So my stamping platform, my 2 trimmers, and then a stamp cleaner, which actually I don't use very often, but it's the best place for me to keep it at the moment. That little storage area on the desk is for all of the rest of my inks. So I have all my Stampin' Up inks that are in a vague order. They don't need to be, but they're in a vague order. It makes sense to me. all my most used sort of like things like Versamark, Versafine, Memento and archival inks are all there as well, and all my distress inks are in the middle. And occasionally what I do is I swap out which inks are the closest, because they're the ones that I use the most frequently. It used to be that I'd keep some of them on this side and some of them on the other side of the desk, and the ones on the other side of the desk just never get used. So I've now put them all in one area, but I might reorganise that at some point soon. Across the top I've got things like normal pencils, of which I've got hundreds for some reason. Well, I know the reason, but it's by the by. I've got lots of HB pencils, watercolour pencils, my brushes and my blending type stuff, and more blending brushes at the top, along with a few little bits of art and random stuff. Don't know if I ever shared with you, got a new ring light. This is for filming down. So it's got like a little clamp in it already to put my phone in so I can film down. It's a lot more stable than the old clamp that I was using. Drawers, this has got all my acrylic blocks in here, along with current tape that I am using, and a few random bits and pieces like embossing buddies. Keep that in there. In here I've got my sewing machine, is right down at the bottom. Right, I'm going to tip you. Sewing machine. Actually, what's done down at this angle, underneath all my cardstock is in those 3 concertina file type things, and next to it is my scraps for scrapbooking type projects of pattern papers that are all sorted by colour again. Right, going back to here, sewing machine. I have Prismacolor pencils and watercolour supplies in here, spare baby wipes, and my crocodile. Yeah, crocodile. Okay. This drawer here that's directly underneath has got my bigger trimmers, my punches. Let's see if I can read. Apologies for the wobbles. Punches that I use infrequently, but I do use them. My what are they called? Piercing tool templates, and the mat. I have Posca pens and Wink of Stella type stuff in here, but these are sort of like the tools that I use probably most frequently. And at the bottom of the pile is things like my scoring tool, which I don't use very frequently. This is going to be interesting to edit, isn't it, with all of these transitions, but never mind. Over here is where I keep my scraps of cardstock. I have very flimsy paper that I use just as scrap paper, and my glittery papers that sit in there. I've also got some random pouches of things that are sort of like half works in progress sitting there, and some envelopes for some reason. Don't know why the envelopes are there, they don't need to be there, and my address book. So they sit on my desk all the time. Pouch of sort of like half done projects isn't there all the time, but that's there at the moment. Even though I rarely remember to use it, I have my stamp for the back of my cards, and then I have things like glues and stuff, and my really revolting water bottle with paintbrushes in it. This is not what you're meant to do with paintbrushes. You're meant to look after them, you're meant to dry them, and not leave them sat in water that then dehydrates to the point of being just gunk at the bottom. That's what's happened there. Do need to sort that out. But I did say tidy, not clean. That's what I said. Okay, I had a little pause and went and made myself another drink. This side of the desk is not the operational side, as in I don't tend to craft at this, because underneath it, let me tip you forward, is a storage box that's got lots of sewing type supplies in it. So there's no leg room, so I don't tend to craft with my chair at this side. I always craft on that side. Sewing box, and then there's random storagey bits and pieces in the notebook there, and then those are the boxes of the pouches that I use all the time for just keeping supplies in, and I'll show you what I mean. Hang on. Oh, very wonky. Okay, so this is one of the A6 size ones, and you'll see I've got little bits of pattern paper that has got fussy cutting and some die cuts in there. I keep those all together in one place. Similarly, this is the A4 size that's got all the scraps in. But the thing that I use it most for is things like this, where I've got a stamp and a die set that coordinate, keeps them together. This sort of packaging that you get it supplied in, I find flimsy and it tends to rip or not stay together. So I find these really helpful. So all of my baskets that I've got dies and stamps in, they're in these pouches. So that's what I mean by those pouches. And my ATG was down there. So back to this side of the desk. On top it's got like embellishment bits and pieces and blending sponges are in that tin. You know, the Tim Holtz ones with the foam on the end, they're all up in there. My ribbons are all in the basket, that's that big basket there. And then projects that I've made are in that basket on the top. So these are cards that have not yet been sorted out to go in my card box that I usually then just share with my mum and dad. Sorry, I've got a very wobbly tripod and I couldn't work out why. It's because I've not expanded it, so that's why. Okay, this is my tool caddies. Bottom drawer has got washi tapes in. I don't use washi tapes very often for actually using them. What I use them for is little ones like this, where I'm sticking dies into place or I'm sticking a stencil into place. I don't use them for washi tapes anymore. I bought loads, don't use them. This is my old lamp. I have it here so that I can point it at my desk for when I'm filming specifically. It just gives a different angle of the light and it just helps with the brightness. I'm not the most professional vlogger. You know, I'm no Jennifer Maguire. We all know that anyway. It's fine. This'll do. This'll do. So it's not the most sensible setup, but it's working for me at the moment. All my pens and pencils and bits that I use all the time are in here. And then on the top of this, I don't know if you can see or not, but I've got glitter glues, which were previously in a box somewhere and I never used them, so I've got them out on display, so I might use them. And what I've discovered is quite a lot of them are dried up, so I don't use them, so I end up chucking them away, but unless I try, I won't know. And my most used embossing powders. The rest of my embossing powders are in a box on the thing for specialist type ones, like specific colours, but this is where I keep my silver, my gold, my white, my clear. What else have I got there? I've got a pearl one and I've got like a holographic glittery type one that I use every so often. Mainly Christmas cards, but not very often. Then this caddy has got things like all my scissors, my most commonly used tools, so the distressing tool, I've now lost it, but there we go, bone folder. They're in there, most commonly used tools and rulers. And then we get to the messy part of the desk. So my big shot now lives on the desk, which is helping a lot because I used to have it up on the shelves and then I put it down on the floor because I'd never have any desk space to do my die cutting and my back would be killing me and I'd wonder why my back was killing me. So it now lives on here, which works really well because yes, I have to get up to use it because it's just that bit too far. Can't do it while sat down, but that's probably a good thing because it means I'm not sat too long. I've got my puddle of stuff that I need to sort out, which is like die cuts, scraps of ribbons. For some reason I have a bobbin of thread in there, don't know why that's in there, but yeah, that's bits and pieces to be sorted out. I have some photographs printed off that are for scrapbooking at some point, a little bit of random paper. This I need to find a better place to keep it, and that's my grip mat. I love my grip mat, but you see what I mean about this packaging doesn't really work. So I'm wondering, actually let's just do that now. I think I stick it into one of these pouches and just put it on my desk so it's right next to me because I use it all the time. I don't know why I've shoved it over there. But yeah, this is all stuff that needs to be sorted. There's just a whole load of random stuff in there. And then this is totally my dead space over here. So I have got some wood blocks that probably should be over there. I've got dilution sprays, which I rarely use because I find them so messy. Even I struggle to contain them. I know if you had one of those like boxes that you always did your spraying in, but I don't have room to have another box just hanging around. So I really need to do something with those to just get them used and out of my stash. There's also things like old phones up there and random string and various bits and pieces. There's some spare glue, there's all sorts of stuff, and I just need to sort it all out. So that's my dead space over there. So that's an explanation of my desk. I've realised this video has been going on so long, so I'm hopefully going to be quick on this last bit, which is my bookcase. Okay, first things first, say hi to Grandad. That's Grandad up there. That's a picture that was painted many years ago of my granddad, who's been dead for many years now. But yeah, he sits and looks over me on a daily basis. Because I also work in this room, which you can just see over here. That's my work desk, so ignore that area. Okay, top of the shelves is my scrapbook albums, and the pink box is full of Christmas cards that I have already made and Christmas tags, etc. So they're things that are already sorted. Do need to at some point in the next couple of months go and take that over to my parents so they can choose the ones that they want, and then I'll box up some for my aunties, which I do every year. Just give them a handful of cards that they can use to send out, and then I do the rest for myself. So for those people who wonder why I make so many Christmas cards, that's kind of why, but it's also because I love making Christmas cards. Right, top shelf. From the right hand side, we've got another couple of scrapbook albums, but they're all empty apart from one, which is scrapbooking that Maya did when she was a child. So I can't throw those out because they're so cute. They're so cute. The box has got a whole load of things that I've been swapped at various points, so I do need to go through and sort that out and see if I can make use of any of it, or whether the things that I no longer want to keep, maybe I want to re-gift them to other people, don't know. There is then some notebooks, some random bits of cardstock and stuff like that on the top shelf there, and my in-use art journals. When I say in use, I've not done art journaling for ages, but they've still got quite a lot of pages left to be filled. The next to the colourful boxes is other bits of cardstock, and that's where I grab most of my cardstock from. I've just popped them into pouches rather than being individually packed. And then the boxes have got either alpha stamps or mainly alpha stamps in them. I don't think there's anything else that's of use of those. Next shelf down, which is all of those 12 by 12 stack and store boxes. That's either got pattern papers or letter alphas or Christmas stamps or stencils, and it's the same for the next shelf down. That's what all those stack and store boxes are, but they've all got a specific use, so they've all got something specific in them, so I know where to go to look for stuff. I also know where to put stuff away. All of the little folders that are here are either ready done die cuts or speciality papers like book print, etc., or digital stamps that have already been printed out. Again, each one's labelled, each one I know exactly where to go for it, and that's my biggest clue. Label stuff so you know where to go for it and you know where to put it away. That's generally the rule when it comes to my craft room. Next shelf down has got obviously more of those stack and stores. So as I say, is either alphas or cardstock or Christmas stamps, I think is the next one up. This has got gesso and texture pastes in it, generally, sort of more mixed media type products. I've then got a scrapbook album that's the one that's in progress, so it's got some empty spaces in it. Once that's full, it'll go up onto the top shelf, and underneath that has got all of my supplies for things like embossing. So all the different embossing powders that I've got. It's also got things that are for adding texture, like the sanding block and that kind of thing. This one's got all my dies and my embossing folders in, and then just on top of it is thick white cardstock and the scraps that are enough for making an actual card front with. Next to it is card blanks and envelopes. Then I have gilding flakes in the bottom and the bits and pieces that you need for gilding flakes, and above that I've got random embellishment type stuff that came from my artful days when I used to do that. It's no longer available, but it was sort of like mixed media products. This one here has got stamps in, this one has got stamps in, and they're all kept in those pouches like I said before. That has got all of my made cards for special people, i.e. members of the family that I make cards for. And I think I've shown that before. I just have a sheet with an insert for each person, and I write on it the general design of what I've done for that year, so I don't remake it and make it exactly the same the next year. Next to it is gelatos and distress crayons type stuff. The next one has got U-mount and carving rubber. Not done any rubber stamp carving for years, but that all the supplies for that are all together, and underneath is art parts. Just behind the lovely frame that my friend Mara made for me with the sea with all the butterflies and a rainbow heart are all my boxes of paints, and then the top left hand side of those boxes is ready-made backgrounds. I then have some coloured envelope boxes, so in 2 different sizes, the standard size and then 5x7, because they're the card sizes that I make most frequently, where I don't always have an envelope already, a white envelope in the stash. I've then got tissue paper and random embellishments, and then a couple of supplies of what they're called, like the little bags that you put them in, like the little poly bags that you put a card in. Don't use them very much, but occasionally I'll bundle up a whole load of cards and take them to the charity shop, and I tend to put them in the little pouches because they find it easier to sell that way. And underneath is my bag that I use for crops. So, done it. I hope you've enjoyed that little tidy up. I'm quite pleased I've got a clear desk. It does inspire me that I need to make something, but I don't know what I'm going to make, so I don't know what's going to happen. So I will finish the video here. Obviously, it was a little tour of my craft room. I'm really curious as to what you would do with that area of the desk that's just like a dumping ground. At some point, I would like to replace the furniture in here, but it's not going to happen for some time because the money's not there for that, and there's nothing functionally wrong with this room. But I would like it to be all white. When we bought the desk for my work stuff, we bought the white one because it was cheap more than anything, but actually I just really like the white desk. And we've had the bookcases for ages. We've had I think we bought the bookcases when we moved into this house. That's how long we've had those. And we bought the desks to match those, but actually I think it would be nicer to have everything white and bright in this room, and give it a bit of a facelift. And I think at that point probably I would totally change how I would do a lot of the bits and pieces in here, but at the moment it's functional, so I can't justify spending the money on something that's functional when we have other work to do around the house, like the bathroom desperately needs replacing. But you know, priority is Missy going to university at the moment. That's the priority. So yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed that. It was a bit of a different one. I've not done one of these for ages and ages. I have filmed some occasionally and then ended up not bothering editing them and just deleting them from my camera, from my phone. So yeah, so it's been a little while. So I hope you enjoyed, and it was nice to chat to you. I will hopefully be back with another video soon. I now need to work out what I'm going to make. So with that, I'm going to say thanks for watching. Like, comment below, especially about that area. Please give me some tips and tricks. Do I just need to just get it all out and just chuck it away? I think that's probably what I need to do, is get it all out and chuck the stuff I'm not actually using, or pop it in a bag and take it to the charity shop if it's something that could be used by the charity shop. But yeah, I probably just need to do that. But that's a job I'm not interested in doing at the moment. So subscribe if you want to see more videos. Most of my videos are not me talking and me bothering on for ages. Most of them are me actually making something. So until next time, bye bye.